Good evening, everyone. My name is Tynesha Malone, and I am the Vice President of the West Garfield Park Youth Council. And we believe that we are the solution to the issues in our community. Our theme is Nothing with Us Without Us. The West Garfield Park Youth Council is sponsored by Fathers Who Care, which is a nonprofit organization located on the west side of Chicago within the West Garfield Park community. Again, everyone, my name is Tynesha Malone, and I am the Vice President of the West Garfield Park Youth Council. The West Garfield Park Youth Council is comprised of 15 young people from our community whose focus and concern is youth leadership and a voice within the community to reduce senseless violence and illegal substance use. We invite people from all over, especially young people, to come in and see what we are all about. Our show will be scheduled every Thursday at 7 p.m. Again, that is every Thursday at 7 p.m. Our show can also be viewed online at www.cantv.org/hotline. Again, that website is www.cantv.org/hotline. Well, I would like to introduce my guest. This is Miss Nicole, and she is the owner of Amazing Dreams Foundation. And if you would like to introduce yourself, you can.
Hello, my name is Nicole Jefferson, aka Miss Nikki Legends. I am a stylist at Legends Barbershop on the south side of Chicago in Roseland community. I am also a child of God, and I am here to bring discipleship to Jesus Christ so that we can have a better future for our life, our youth, and our city.
Okay, so again, everyone, my name is Tynesha Malone, and I am the Vice President of the West Garfield Park Youth Council. You are watching a live interactive call-in television network brought to you on CanTV 21. During the next 25 minutes, we are going to discuss how to educate, engage, and empower young people from high-risk communities. So today's topic, again, is on how to educate, engage, and empower young people from high-risk communities. So now I have a few questions, and the first one is, who are you, and what is your purpose for existing?
Once again, I am Nicole Jefferson. I am a woman of God and a child of God. I like to bring people to God. I am into showing agape love of unconditional love of Jesus Christ so that we can build a better community. And I exist to praise, worship, and make discipleships.
All right. So, what kind of things can we do in our community to engage our young people and save lives?
In order to engage our young people, we must first embrace them and show them love. We have to show them unconditional love and show them that even though they are in circumstances that this is not it. So we have to teach them to unlearn all this toxic behavior that we have been accustomed to. And we have to help them to be more structured in their mind. And once we get them structured in their mind correctly, then we'll be able to build a better future for everyone.
I definitely agree.
Yes.
So, what does it mean to empower young people?
Empowering young people means to just, they are our future. No matter how we look at it, they're the future. So if we can empower them to believe in themselves and have self-respect and moral conduct, then we'll be able to have a better outcome in society. If we can engage them in more community outreach and more mental health, because they suffer traumas, they suffer PTSD, they suffer all type of things that we as adults suffer, but because they're children and they're our youth, people don't really pay attention to them as being in traumatic situations. Yet we see it every day. And in order for us to address the situation, we have to engage the youth in, once again, love. We have to show them that there is more than what they see. It's up to us to guide them to be the future.
So what if they don't want to take that path? You know how kids are so reluctant towards change now, and they don't want to like change or anything. They want to stay into the ways that they're used to, and they don't want to like go out and be like, oh yeah, I'm finna go try to change my ways and change how I look at life. A lot of kids don't want to do that now. So how do y'all get them to actually like put forth effort to try to change their lives and better themselves?
For one thing, they don't know anything about it because they only see the poverty. They only see the toxicness in the communities. They see the abandoned buildings. If it looks toxic, you're going to become toxic. We become products of our environment. And we have to let them know, for one thing, street life, drug life, gang life, all of that leads to prison and the cemetery. So if you don't want to go down those paths, then you have to make a choice, a conscious decision to want to change, because the change has to start from within. And once you begin to want to change, once you get an outlook of what life can be like, you'll be ready to step into it. You also have to teach people to speak it into their atmosphere. If all you hear is negativity, then all you're going to put out is negativity. If we can just start having a more positive outlook and perspective on what's going on, no matter how tragic, then we could be able to change the dynamic of our atmosphere to a more positive mindset.
I definitely agree, because it do start from the mind, because
It does.
it's like negative energy. If you give off negative energy, then you producing it and then you're gonna get it back. So it's like you can't give off negativity and then think, oh, all the great things are gonna happen to me, because that's not the type of energy that you're releasing out into the world for the world to release good energy on you. They gonna release they gonna give you what you're releasing to them. So they do have to like change their mindset and change how they think to try and get better in life, because if they still stuck in that one mindset of, okay, this is where I am, this is where I'm always gonna be, the streets is where I'm always gonna be, with these people is where I'm always gonna be. If they still stuck in that mindset, then that's forever where they're gonna be. And if they don't try to change, then it's nothing that nobody can do, because that's what they have their mind stuck on.
Absolutely.
So why is it important to educate and engage our young people from high-risk communities?
So within our communities, there are so many young artists. There are so many young doctors and lawyers and financial analysts. Like, there's so many different type of people that make up our community. You know how you have to dig the diamond out? So we have to go into our communities and dig out the youth. We have to help them to see that there's another way and a brighter future, even though you can't see it. Once you believe it and know it, then you'll start to produce it. And once you start to put everything in action, God will align everything up.
So how long have you been educating, mentoring, and empowering young people, and what have you learned from them?
So, I've been a hairstylist in the Roseland community for 27 years. So, I have came across people of all walks of life, demographics, age, race, it did not matter. And one thing I've learned is that you have to meet people where they're at. Not where you want them to be, but exactly where they're at. And once you can do that, then you'll begin to be able to set up a different perspective, once again, in their mindset, to show them that this is not the only way to live. And plus, we have to lead by example.
Right.
As adults, if we're out here and you hanging with your kids or smoking with your kids and drinking and saying it's okay for them to be selling drugs and robbing, then you're contributing to the problem. You have to stand up as a parent. We have to stand up as communities, as leaders, and lead by example, and stop allowing these children and our youth to think it's okay to do all of this. We have to show them something else. Basically, if all they see is drug dealers and gangbangers, then that's what they're going to become. But if you show them and put them in an environment and show them how they can become electricians or engineers, then you'll get a different outcome.
So it do start with the parents.
It does, definitely. Everything starts at home. Everything. You grow up, you're born at home. You don't leave home till you start preschool. And then you still go back home. So everything you're going through is based at home. So we have to do better as parents, as leaders. We must do better, because it's up to us to guide the children as our future.
So what about the parents who act how they act because of generational traumas, and they bring that up onto their kids, and then it's like that's what they're used to, that's what they've done, they've dealt with for maybe 30 years. They could be in their 30s, they can be in their 40s. They deal with that for so long. So it's like, what if it's nothing that can change their point of view in life? that they've been used to for 40 years that could change them and have them to change their kids' ways when they're so used to doing something?
For one thing, it's not over until God says it's over.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to lead by example. We have parents who don't care what their kids doing, and you need to be caring. And we have some parents that just can't get a hold of their kids. Now, for one thing, discipline and abuse are two totally different things. As parents, we are to discipline our children. If we do not discipline them, we don't love them. We just let them run wild. So as a parent, how can you allow that? You have to take it upon yourself to be a responsible adult and take on the responsibility of being a parent, because once you lay down and have these children, they are your responsibility till they're 18. There's no in between. I have a son and a daughter, and it was all about them until they were grown.
Because they didn't choose to be here.
Because they did not choose to be here. So it was my responsibility. God gave me control over their lives. You know what I'm saying? And as our children grow up, they begin to do things that we don't condone. But at the same time, as parents, that's when we apply discipline. And you have to stand on it. You can't let your kids run over it. You can't make them think they grown. You have to continue to make sure they know to stay in a child's place.
Right.
You know?
And yeah, I know that a lot of kids say that whooping them don't change them, it just make them fear their parents, and you're not supposed to fear your parents. You're supposed to, it's like fearing your parents and having respect for your parents are also two different things. So
it definitely is, but when you discipline your children, you're also teaching them. You're not just whooping them and abusing them and not teaching them nothing.
Right.
Like when you discipline, you teach. When God disciplines us and corrects us, He teaches us, and that is how we get on a straight and narrow.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So the parent at the same time has to unlearn toxic behavior that they develop through generational curses. But everyone needs to remember, we come to break these generational curses. We are the millennial kingdom of Jesus Christ. So it's up to us as communities, as families, as men and women in the world to make sure we're breaking barriers and canceling out generational curses so that they don't trickle down to our grandkids and great-grandchildren, so that we can have a better society.
So what services are available for young people that need help or just need someone to encourage and support them?
You know, there are so many services out here. It's just people don't. For one thing, you have to want to be different. You have to want to change. You have to want to get help. And you have so many organizations that's willing to reach out if you reach. You know, but people can't reach for you if you're not asking for help or letting people know that you even need help. So you have to open up and talk. You have to let someone know. There are so many social workers in the schools and in the hospitals. There are so many organizations and outreaches in the churches that if people would just say something, you would be surprised at the resources that would be right at your fingertips.
Right.
Yes.
So when did you know you wanted to work in the field of education and with young people?
So for the past 10 years, I have really been passionate about it. I have watched my children grow up. I have watched their friends. I have seen the kids in the community. And my children were loved growing up. But you have some kids that were not loved. And if they can just have love, then they will be so much better and so much different. So, yeah, for the past 10 years, I've really been into it. But just recently, God has just bestowed it on me so much that He just laid the path, and I'm just walking in and doing His will, because it's up to us to save our youth.
So did you just find your relationship with Him, or has it always been here?
No, it's always been here. You know, but the older I get, the more I grow, the wiser I become, the closer we get.
Right, okay.
Definitely.
So can you share with our viewing audience some of the programs and or services you know of that have assisted young people in working to promote a safe, healthy, and drug-free community?
So you have the Metropolitan Family Services at 3333 South Wabash. And they do behavioral health, mental health, job resources, housing. and so on and so forth. You have CP4P, which is the Peace Corporation, and they are on the South Chicago area, 3003 East 92nd. You also have the Youth Guidance Organization, 1 North LaSalle, Suite 900, Chicago, Illinois, which is the BAM organization. And you also have Healing Rivers Ministry with Pastor Kim on the south side of Chicago. So all of these places and organizations are spread from the south side to the west side. So anywhere in your neighborhood, in your community, there's always somewhere to go to get help. Don't ever think you're alone. Don't ever think there's no resources, because they are. You just have to seek them out. And people will seek out what they want change in.
And then, it's sometimes parents be like, oh, go to school and come straight home. It's like they have no time in between. They don't have any time between going home and going to school to go to any of these places or go to any of these programs. So what would you do, or would it be like, oh, a counselor from school would like talk to the parents? But it's like if parents are stuck on this one thing of not letting their child go out and see the world for what it is, from the good as well and not just the bad, what do y'all do about that too?
We encourage parents to get involved so that you can see how beneficial it is, not only for the youth but for the families, whoever's involved in the youth life. So you have to want different in order to seek out this type of resource. And I get parents, Chicago has just became so violent that you want your children safe. But at the same time, you have to open up opportunities and doors so that they can grow. Because keeping them confined into a house, make them stay in front of the TV, make them stay on a video game, make them stay on social media. You have to enlighten your children on different aspects of life, such as things like this, like different organizations that head up different basketball camps and things like that to help the youth engage in activities within the community and teach them structure and life skills and people skills. Because if you keep confined, they're going to stay confined. You have to help the youth. They have to help broaden the horizon of the children. You have to get them different things to look at and different activities to coincide with, because if all they see is destruction, they're going to be destructive. So it's up to us to build better communities, have more resources. We need more activity centers and resource centers where they can go to after school and get extra tutored into, where the parents are going to be coming out their pocket a whole lot. We need those after school cares. Remember, when we was growing up, we had all of that. When my children were growing up, they had all of that. But now it's a different time. So a lot of funding has been cut, a lot of things has been taken away, but once again, it's up to us as a community. If we want our children to grow and be better in the future, then it's up to us to help build.
To help build that community?
To help build the community, the structure, yes, everything, the demographics. I'm talking about the whole concept. We have to work together as a people, because if we're constantly attacking one another, there's no growth. There's no building. There's no nothing but deception. So
what about when all the kids is given the phones and the cell phones and the video game? It's like their minds are so warped into what social media is feeding them. And it's like this is being promoted. It's like all the social sites is being promoted to be on more and more and more. Oh, go to this website and be on here a lot. And it's like it's really up to the people, and not to depend on other people, because only the people in the community and the people who pay their taxes to have all this stuff to be put in the community. It's really up to us, because it's like nobody else is going to look out for us.
That's
because
right.
A lot of our, like, the minds are being more like
Programs.
Corrupt. Yeah, it's like really corrupt, and it's like it's being programmed to be like, oh, I gotta wake up and get on my phone. Wake up and get on my phone. It's like now we don't read books. We don't. When we get on our phone, we don't do it to learn anything. We just go on it just to laugh or to look at other people's lives, look at lives outside of ours and stuff like that, instead of working on our own life.
But that's what I mean when I say we need to unlearn toxic behavior. As a parent, when I was raising my kids, wasn't no phones at the table. You know, screen time, you have to, as parents, we have to monitor. Just because our kids start growing up and they not little kids, 5 and 6, when they get 10 and 11 and 12 and 14 and 16, that's when parenting really kicks in. Because that's when they're like, you don't know which way they're going to go. But the more you guide them, the more you show them the way to go, the more they'll tend to go the right way.
But when you feed kids like the narrative of like, or showing them like, I don't care if they do this and this and that, they could do what they want.
See, that's the responsibility of the parent.
But then
and
it's
that's
like
bad parents.
But after a while, kids like they feed into that from what their parents telling them. Then they feel like, I don't have to listen to my mom anymore, or what my mom say is invalid, or what she say is not as important as it was before when she was giving me more discipline. Now that she's taken away a lot of the discipline that she gave me at first, it's like, I don't really have too much respect for her. I don't really have to listen to everything that she say, you know.
You know, my daughter is 27, and I stay on her. But that's me. You see what I'm saying? Because this is what I choose to do as a mother. She doesn't want me to. She's an adult. She's grown, granted. But as a mother, what you doing?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's my job. See, so many adults have given up on their own kids, but won't give up on the man that's slapping them. Won't give up on the job that's burning them and they not making no money. You see what I'm saying? Won't give up on the drugs that they're on, but will give up on the children that God gave them, that they brought into this world. And for that, they will have to answer to the Most High for that. Because when we have children, they are our responsibility, even beyond 18. You're still, if you do something, my daughter go outside to the store, she do something, and someone see her at 27, they are calling. She hates it. But at the same time, that's what I set up. You see what I'm saying? I was growing up, when we was growing up, everybody could tell on you. It was nothing. Everybody could whoop you. Now, you can't even whoop your own child. You see what I'm saying? So society has put that and programmed our youth and people, not just our youth, to think that it's okay to be relaxed. But it's not. It's never okay to be relaxed. Because as soon as you get too relaxed, that's when the lack can come in. You know, and if we lack on things as moral conduct and the way we're supposed to live, look at the outcome we've gotten.
And then, you know, kids now, they be like, or if a adult try to discipline them or tell them anything, you know my mama or you know my daddy, but then at the same time they don't even respect their mom and dad, so they use that as, you not nobody, that's too important for me to have to listen to anything that you say, so why should I have to take what you say and then I'm supposed to change how I'm acting to satisfy what you want me to be when I don't want to do that. Like, a lot of kids think like that now.
That's their parents' fault. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. I have a son and a daughter, and I wish they would. I'm from the wish it would tribe. I wish they would. And don't get me wrong, when you have children, you go through things. You go through battles. It is not peaches and cream. But at the same time, you got to fight for your kids. You see what I'm saying? I'm fighting for mine. And not only am I fighting for mine, but I'm about to fight for the youth. Because I cannot let us go down like this.
Right.
We have to save our city.
So if someone is watching and is in need of counseling and or your support, how can they reach you?
How can they reach me? I am a hairstylist at Legends Hair Salon. You can Google me at Miss Nikki Amazing Dreams. I kind of didn't want to shout myself out.
All right.
But yes, you can contact me at Miss Nikki Amazing Dreams. The number is on Google. And stop by the barbershop. We're always welcome and well. We'll pray with you. We'll talk to you, give you good advice. Just have your mask on, please.
So, if you are just tuning in, our guest tonight on the show is Ms. Nicole, and we are discussing how to educate, engage, and empower young people from high-risk communities. We would like to thank our viewers for watching. For additional information about our youth council, please contact us at 773-287-5821 and ask for Miss Princess. Thank you, and tune in next week, same time, same station. And the show will be with Fathers Who Care with Reverend Jones, and he will be on here with his guests next week. See you all later.
Take care.